In this video, I will be diving into and analyzing topic 2, what Paul had to say about women covering their heads when praying or professing in Corinthians 1:11, 2-16. The main point of Paul's call to women and men in this particular section of the Bible was a plea for appropriate dress and gender norms to be put in place during a time of worship. The setting of this particular section takes place in an assembly where men and women are praying and professing to God. With such a sensitive subject to play on, Paul uses his sense of language to drive across a very important topic of the church. Church attire has always been a very sacred topic and something many hold dear to their values and beliefs. The main point of Paul's statement deals with hair and head coverings of both men and women. Paul's use of metaphors in this section is very important to the ideas he is trying to get across. His main use of metaphors deals with the term headship. Paul uses much colorful language and imagery to emphasize his points on the importance of appearance and gender roles in the church. Some of the main points in this passage are the idea that the relationships between man and Christ, as well as the relationships between women and men, and the relationships between Christ and God, are all sacred and all balanced. They should be respected in every way and treated in a just fashion. He is emphasizing as well that the relationship between men and women being equal and not apart from one another. He wants it to be known that just because a man was first, that does not mean that a woman is below men. Similar to how the New Testament can't stand without the help of the Old Testament, men are to women, and they are both interdependent on one another. This beginning testament of relationships between men and women laid down the accessibility for Paul to tell his truth on a very crucial part of dress in the church, the headdresses that women wore and the appropriate way for men and women to wear their hair as well. His basic argument was that men and women should be dressed appropriately and decently when worshiping their God in church. He wanted men and women to celebrate their gender differences in the ways that their dress highlights their gender and unique and wonderful differences that come between being a man and being a woman. One of the most important lines in this passage was, "It is for this reason that a woman ought to have authority over her own head because of the angels." This statement can be picked apart and interpreted in many different ways. It is really up to the reader to decipher what Paul is trying to say and if it is a literal or figurative sense of the term. Paul was very progressive in his view of women during this time. Women were also prophets and viewed in some instances equal as men, in the church as well. This could be Paul saying that women should take hold of their right to dress their heads as they want, as long as it is respectful and in the name of Christ. He is somewhat asking women to take hold and control of both their actual heads, as well as the head of society and the patriarchy. He is attempting to influence women into balancing the way that society works. In conclusion, Paul's main argument was that our appearances do affect how we go about our day-to-day lives. Different scenarios and different places will affect the way we dress and dress our heads. His main plea was to dress appropriately in regards to the church and the church's values, and that there is a time and a place for everything.